Welcome to NCIX Tech Tips. Today's episode is about a premium, beautifully crafted notebook. It features Gorilla Glass, aluminum plastic construction. It's got a pretty good overall spec, long battery life, and contrary to what you might have thought, this is not an Apple notebook. No, this is for the PC guys out there. This is the HP NV14 Spectre. It is a absolutely stunning piece of machinery, and we are going to be taking a closer look at it inside and out. Now, I can't very well call something exquisite without backing it up, so let's have a look at the overall build quality as well as the external connectors on the Spectre NV. So first of all, we've got Gorilla Glass on both sides of the panel. So this is unique because it gives you not only durability with the scratch resistance of Gorilla Glass, but also extremely robust build quality because it's basically an aluminum bezel around the outside with pure glass on both sides of it. So it's very, very strong. Now, while it does add some additional weight to the notebook, personally, I feel this is an acceptable trade-off for the vibrance of the LED backlit 1600 by 900 screen, as well as the ruggedness and durability of it. Now, that's not the only durability factor thing. HP has also built in an extremely robust hinge, which is not really what you would normally find on a consumer notebook, but this is a premium notebook, so they don't want you to, well, damage it because the hinge is not made very well. In terms of the thinness of the screen, once again, the aluminum glass construction allows it to be very thin. So I'm going to do a quick iPhone comparison here so you guys can see that it's actually only about the thickness of the aluminum portion of an iPhone. So the glass is sandwiched inside the aluminum as opposed to around the outside edges like an iPhone 4. Now, once we're inside, you see we've got a power button as well as a full LED backlit keyboard, and this is a bilingual one. International versions may not have that. And what we also find surrounding the 3-point multi-touch touchpad is a Gorilla Glass wrist rest. Now, this is cool, not only because it makes it more durable and less ugly, but it's also going to isolate the heat from your hands a little bit, paired up with HP's CoolSense technology, which as soon as the notebook starts to heat up a little bit, ramps up your fan so that your hands and your lap don't get hot while you're using it, enables a more, well, I'd say a better overall user experience. Now let's have a look at what we've got for I/O. Let's start on this side where we have a mute button as well as a volume control knob that you can access even when the notebook is closed, a Beats audio button which basically brings up all of your recording and playback devices so you can adjust the volumes of them independently, as well as your power in. Once we get around to the other side, we find some pretty cool stuff. So we've got DisplayPort out, or mini DisplayPort out rather, HDMI, USB 3 super speed, USB 2, a headphone out port, as well as an SD card port. Finally, check this out. In spite of the slim form factor of this notebook, HP has used a little hinge here to allow you to put a full-size RJ45 Ethernet cable directly into the notebook without any of those cheesy adapters. So for screen size, this notebook is what HP would normally consider to be a 13.3-inch form factor, but due to the glass construction of the screen and the extremely thin bezel, especially around the outside edges, HP has effectively put a 14-inch screen in what would normally be a 13.3-inch notebook. This makes a big difference when the pixel density is so high because it means that you can see it a little bit better. On the bottom, we also find as well as speaker ports and ventilation ports, which work with the CoolSense technology, we find an enormous battery compartment. That is because in order to achieve the battery life that HP quotes for this notebook, they had to ensure that pretty much about a good third of the interior of the notebook is actually taken up by the battery. Now, even though this is more of a lifestyle piece, the specs and general speeds are still important. So I already covered the screen. This is a 1600 by 900 screen, which is sort of, over 9,000 as far as quality goes. Sorry, I was just adjusting the reflection there. It is a glass panel, which means you will get some additional reflectivity. However, personally, I feel it's an acceptable trade-off for the vibrance that a glass-covered panel gives you, especially with the LED backlight. It uses a dual-core Intel Core i5 processor, 4 gigs of RAM. Unfortunately, the RAM is only single DIMM, so it cannot really be upgraded. However, this is an Ultrabook class product, so that's kind of the expectation that comes with it. It uses a 128 gig or 256 gig SSD. This one comes with a 128. And I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to it. So you can expect near instant boot ups, enough RAM to run Windows 7 without any difficulty. The dual-core processor will enable you to do basic photo or video editing without any real slowdowns. And right, Beats audio. So you should experience significantly better audio than you would on a commodity notebook that puts absolutely no BOM cost whatsoever into the sound solution, which is not that uncommon. Now, other things that add to the overall cost of the notebook from HP's side, but are a significant value for the customer, are the 2-year concierge warranty. So what that means is you call someone anytime you want, and anything they can't fix, they will send you by next day delivery. So that's really cool. And last but not least, included software. So it includes a 2-year Norton Internet Security, which is better than the 30-day trial that is mostly included with notebooks, as well as full copies of Adobe Premiere and Photoshop Elements. Now, those are expensive pieces of software, actually, in the context of, you know, a $1,400, $1,500 notebook. So, hey, it's nice to not be locked down to Windows Movie Maker and MS Paint, which for whatever reason hasn't improved in the last 15 years. Thank you for checking out this NCIX Tech Tips preview or review or overview of the HP NV14 Spectre. Remember, there's a Spectre XT model. However, it forgoes, it's also an Ultrabook, but it forgoes some of the more you know, elegant design features of this one. So I definitely recommend checking out the Spectre before you check out the Spectre XT. Don't forget to subscribe to NCIX Tech Tips.